our customers on 40th Road. She was known as Cece. To the local police, they gave her the name Doe Ponytail. Her real name was Song Yang. In 2013, Song Yang came to the United States with her husband. They had left Saipan and closed their restaurant after facing serious economic struggle. In the United States, her husband took a job doing kitchen work, which he had great experience in. However, it soon became apparent that he was too old for such work. In fact, he was much older than Song Yang, who began working hard to supplement their income. She became a health aide and also took massage therapy courses with the hopes of getting into that field. Ultimately, Song Yang, who was in her mid-30s at the time, became privy to a new job opportunity, working on the streets of Flushing, Queens. She began working out of 13532 40th Road in downtown Flushing. Cece, who Song Yang became known as, would be found in internet ads and outside of the 40th Road address, offering massage services, and once inside, illicit sex acts to Johns. It's said that she would pay as much as $400 a day to rent out the room where she was offering her services. If you have spent any time around the streets of downtown Flushing, the idea of women standing in doorways and street corners, openly soliciting men to join them, would be no secret to you. In an area rich in Asian culture, delicious cuisine, and vast imported goods, this behavior remains a dark presence. During this time, Song Yang, aka Cece, would keep close contact with her family, and she had also been in contact with a lawyer. Song Yang's time on the streets was anything but adventurous. She had dangerous encounters with Johns, and there was even reports of physical abuse she suffered during her time as a sex worker. In one conversation with a lawyer, she reported an incident which involved a law enforcement officer. According to Song Yang, this officer, who remains unknown, put a gun to her head and forced her to perform oral sex. Over the past few years, there have been articles about the NYPD Vice Squad and some of the hot water that they have been in. A lot of community activists feel that they have made matters worse, and community activists have attempted to shed light on some of their corruption within the squad and other NYPD agencies. They feel that the way the NYPD combats sex work and attempts to stop some of the doings that are happening on the streets are not helping at all, and turning a sad situation into something a lot worse. In this article, one of the officers arrested was employed in the 109th Precinct, which serves the immediate vicinity where Song Yang was operating on 40th Road. Song Yang would be arrested 3 times during her time on the streets, with her third arrest occurring in September of 2017, just 2 months before the night of November 25th, when police would raid her space at 13532 40th Road. She had also gained the nickname Doe Ponytail by local authorities. November 24th, 2017. Vice Squad makes a call to Cece's location in order to set an appointment for the next evening. They agree on the meet, which was arranged for $120. The following evening, right outside 13502 Roosevelt Avenue, the 10-member Vice Squad convenes and discusses the operation which was about to take place. Soon, a Vice Squad officer makes his way up posing as the John who made the appointment the previous day. Following behind him were the rest of the officers, climbing the stairs in a rush. Cece witnesses this on her surveillance cameras. She panics, and in seconds, she hears, "Police! Open up!" She races to the fourth-floor balcony and jumps. Which seemed to be an attempt at escape, resulted in her death. Downstairs, a vice officer is waiting outside. He witnesses the fall. She was taken to nearby New York Presbyterian Hospital of Queens, but doctors could not save her. Her injuries were too severe. At just 38 years old, the struggling sex worker, who came to America for a better life, had died. In the aftermath, the story would gain a lot of attention and shine a light on the numerous prostitution dens operating in Flushing and the New York City area as a whole. Community activists would come together to expose the danger that many women face in the business and some of the darkness that allows such activity to flourish. The story of Song Yang is more complex, and the details of her life, her family, and husband have been covered greatly in the 2018 New York Times expose, which is titled "The Case of Jane Doe Ponytail," which was written by Dan Barry and Jeffrey Singer. I will post links to that article and other articles in the video's description. I highly suggest you reading them. In the meantime, let's head over to Flushing, Queens, New York, to 40th Road.
Alright everybody, we are back in Flushing. Of course, I did the Wendy's Massacre video here in Flushing, which is just about a block and a half up away from us. Today we're doing the story of Jane Doe Ponytail, real name Song Yang. To those that knew her on the streets, they called her Cece. Now it's important to know, I want to stress that although this is the second video I did here and another sad story and a lot of crazy stuff happens here, it's definitely a cool place to come and visit. Especially if you're into eating different cuisine, whether it be Cantonese, Shanghai cuisine, Thai, Vietnamese. I mean, this is the spot, baby. This is where you gotta come. Dare I say it's become a little better than the Chinatown Manhattan? Well, that's up for debate. I guess I'm partial to this area. I grew up around here. So on the night of November 24th, they call to Song Yang's place of business, which is just to the left here. We're going to go there to 40th Road. And they schedule that appointment. Now the next evening, they park right here, across from White Bear at 13502 Roosevelt Ave. White Bear, another place that you should visit. You get some awesome wontons and some chili oil and some other great stuff. Free business plug, White Bear. So they park up over here and they have 10 Vice Squad members. And the appointment's already set. They're gonna make their way this way to 40th Road, specifically 135-32 40th Road, where the events take place. So let's walk over there. Over here you got the Bland Housing Projects, NYC building. You got the Long Island Railroad up there. That'll take you to Penn Station. And over here, we're turning onto 40th. I'm gonna head to 135-32. Now, to some of you looking at this right now, you might think, wow, this looks like another country or something. And you'd be right. I got a good buddy of mine named Henry who he lived in Hong Kong for a long time, and when I would tell him about this area, I would show him pictures, he would always say how reminiscent it was. That would be the location for which we had discussed in our video, where Song Yang was working out of. And on November the 25th of 2017, police raid this area, the Vice Squad. Now, from everything that I could see in the photos, New York Times and other outlets, it would have been up there on that 4th floor balcony. Would have been from that balcony that Song Yang jumped or fell. I suppose the accounts are a bit blurred. Then onto the pavement, where a Vice Squad officer was there, witnessing everything. Right here on 40th Road. We're gonna walk a little bit up, get another view. This is not gonna be as long as some of my other location videos. It's very site specific, and everything we have discussed prior, there really isn't a whole lot. Well, we'll talk about a couple other things here. Let's get a look at the block. Let's get a look at that balcony up there. Now, some believe the notion that maybe if you see that wire, maybe she had attempted to latch onto that wire somehow. This would have been her 4th arrest, and it was a complete panic witnessing the Vice officers coming up from the stairs from her camera, and she had panicked, and at that time she just had enough, and she had tried to get away. And it's a terrible story, absolutely horrible. And since this story happened, we've had a lot of activists trying to straighten out this area, trying to bring some awareness, local politicians, and I believe one of the organizations is Canary Song. Excuse me if I'm getting that wrong. I'll put an image of it. Red Canary Song. They're one that's trying to make it easier and safer for sex workers to operate. Your opinions on that is, everyone has their own opinions, but you know, it is what it is. It's gonna happen, and some people think that if it's gonna happen, it should happen safely. You know, at the end of the day, I guess it's sort of a quality of life issue, but it's also a non-violent issue at times, even though they do get into some violence doing this job. But, you know, I think that it's important to at least try to clean up the streets and make these activities safer. I mean, it's a tough issue. It's like drug legalization. It's a tough thing to talk about. We can go on and on about the positives and negatives. Now let's walk back to the corner away from this crowd, and we're gonna discuss some other things. Some sticky rice, lotus leaf, One of my favorite things to eat. Crossover. Oh. It's kind of similar like when I was in Brooklyn doing the Levy Aaron story. You know, you kind of feel uncomfortable filming tight-knit areas, communities. But I suppose since I kind of grew up in Flushing and spent a lot of my teen years and even now hanging out around here, I suppose I feel a little more comfortable doing this. So let's talk about a couple other things. We'll look up this way. So after this happens, of course, you know, one of the common themes here is that these massage parlors often get shut down. You know, do not enter. There'll be like a police sticker on them. One of them particularly across the street from the location of the events where I was just standing over there was shut down shortly after. And one of the guys that was running it was the boss. They call him the boss. A guy named Lao Lai. He was apparently Cece's boss. But even more important than that, and I'll put up the news article now. Now, a lot of these buildings here in Flushing are said to be owned by a prominent banking family named by the Tsai family. The Tsai family. Now, they own so much real estate around Flushing. Much of those areas, the newspaper claims, half of these hooker operations or sex worker operations, they own those buildings. Of course, if you ask them about it, well, they'll for sure plead ignorance and, you know, oh, we're just building owners. You know, we don't know what's going on here. Come on. We know. Everyone knows. We all know what the deal is, especially if you come up in this area. You know, I can't tell you how many times I can walk down this street or Roosevelt Avenue and, you know, hear them, you know, hey, 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 calling you into the hallway or trying to solicit you. It's happened to me numerous times. Even when I'm with my fiance, we'll be walking here and it's like, that doesn't even matter. Like, you know, I'm walking with my girl, you know, they don't see that. It is what it is. I'm not knocking, not judging. I'm just telling you the story here. So let's walk by again so you can see the location of the events that transpired on the night of November 25th, 2017. We'll take one more look at the balcony, then we'll walk to Main Street and we'll get out of here. This isn't going to be too long, as I said. Much of what this is discussed in the segment prior. So it's just important for me to give you a little feel here. Okay. One more look at the balcony. And let's make our way to the main street, main area here. As I mentioned before, this was right near the site where I did the Wendy's Massacre video. Now look to the left right here. That's something you'll see a lot. So here we are.
All new, all coming today.
Let's go this way, Long Island Railroad. Here we are. I mentioned that previous video, Wendy's Massacre, right here. 4012 Main, that's where that happened. Just while I'm here, just figured I'd bring it up. So we'll walk here to the corner and then we'll probably end this. It's quite busy here. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the story and enjoyed this little trip to this neighborhood. See how crowded it is. But they will. And this right here, 7 train. This will take you to Times Square. All right, everyone, another video in the books. I hope once again that you guys enjoyed this story. It's a sad tale, but it happened, and it's my job to cover some of this stuff here. All right, everyone, you have a great week.